Are you interested in doing some damage like this? Well, I got y'all boys today. Over the last weekend, I have been working on ZEPHYR builds. I had a lot of people request me to use ZEPHYR and to get into the ZEPHYR scene. I had no idea how to even use him. So today I'm gonna show y'all how to use ZEPHYR. I'm gonna show you the build that I'm using to be able to destroy anything in Steel Path. ZEPHYR's passive ability, man. ZEPHYR moves faster and falls slower while airborne. Also gain 150% critical hit chance with weapons while airborne. This right here is essentially what I built my entire build around, his passive, because that 150% critical chance. I'm a gunslinger by heart and I like shooting my weapons, so I like to build around what enhances my weapons to be better. Next up, you've got Tailwind. Hold while airborne to hover ZEPHYR with reduced movement from the air, tap to dash forward or aim down to dive bomb enemies below. The only reason I use this ability right here typically is just to float, or if I want to move across the map. This ability right here is extremely effective for just darting across the map. This actually might be like faster than Gauss. The next ability, you have the Air Burst. Launch a burst of massively dense air. Hold to send enemies flying. Tap to pull them toward the burst. Damage increase per enemy hit. I actually don't use this ability, but it is a very effective ability. It's really good for gathering enemies together, but as you'll see later in the video, I don't really need that for my playstyle. Next up, you've got Turbulence as the third ability. Creating a windshield around ZEPHYR, redirecting all incoming projectiles. You don't really take any damage from any bullets. You can still take damage from status effect and melee, but you won't get shot at. If you're floating in the air like I like to do, you can't be meleeed. His last but definitely not least ability, his tornadoes. Create deadly tornadoes that seek out and engulf enemies. Tornadoes deal the elemental damage type they absorb the most. Shoot engulfed enemies to inflict extra damage. Hold for stationary tornadoes or tap for wandering ones. This ability is incredibly broken in my opinion. This is definitely ZEPHYR's best ability. They all go really good together. ZEPHYR is just an all-around just unit. I love ZEPHYR and you're gonna see why. Now to get into the nitty-gritty, y'all. This is the build that we're using. It is a one forma build. You only have to put one forma into this, and obviously you gotta have your Orc and Catalyst for it as well. Y'all see the build. Y'all copy and paste the build. That's probably why you're watching the video. What's underneath my head right here? We have Arcane Energized and we have Molt Augmented. So I'll essentially walk you through my thought process behind this build right here. We have Roar Subsumed for the 2 abilities. So we still have our Turbulence. Survivability is the most important thing in this game. If you can't survive, you can't thrive. So you gotta have the tornadoes. Tornadoes are broken. We've got Rolling Guard right here just in case we get hit by an enemy with status. Then we also built around as much range. So obviously that's gonna take some overextended. We're gonna have to have the Auger Reach for that, and we're gonna have to have the Stretch for that. Since we have overextended, that takes down our range quite a bit. So I went ahead and threw on Transient, Power Drift up here, and then we have the Molt Augmented. So the strength actually goes up to 170%. The efficiency also isn't a problem because we have the Arcane Energized, and I like to run Zenuric with it as well, so that helps me with energy pickups. These two right here, you could switch out. Say you want a little bit more, range. Cunning Drift isn't a bad one, especially since this build needs a lot of range. I just like seeing the strength number over 100. If you see, if I put Cunning Drift on, this is technically 155 with the Molt Augmented, and it pisses me off seeing it below 100. So, oh, also the one format that I put in was just a minus polarity, so I could have Prime Flow. For our shards that I have on, 3 ability durations. I needed to get at least 200% duration is what I was shooting for in my head. The Tailwind, while you're sitting in the air and you're floating with ZEPHYR, that is dependent on ability duration, not ability efficiency. So that's why I went ahead and put 3 of those on. The other 2 are corrosive, so I can armor strip with her, so armor strip's never going to be an issue. This build is all around probably one of my favorite builds I've ever made in this entire game. I've had so much fun using ZEPHYR. You're going to be seeing me use a lot of ZEPHYR if you guys watch the live streams. If you want to check that out, link will be in the description for the Twitch. We're live Monday to Friday, 8 to 12 p.m. EST. We have got 13 heavy gunner Eximuses, level 145. You will never see this many heavy gunners in a game, but you know what? I actually like to do it because these are hard enemies to kill and just to show the power. So, gonna put my tornadoes down, and then I am gonna shoot my tornadoes. Everything's gonna die. The most important thing, whenever you get into the game with this, you're only gonna have enough to activate 2 abilities. So what I always activate, Roar, and then I'll go Turbulence until I pick up my first energy pad. And then once you get your first energy pad with the Zernik and the Arcane Energized, then you can go ahead and float. All you gotta do is hold your 1 ability and you'll sit here and float. And then if you hold your 4 ability, which for me is Y, it will sit the tornadoes down. And if you just press it, the tornadoes will just go crazy. They'll just move on their own. And typically when I'm in a mission where I'm not camping, I'll actually do this instead so I can get around to more surface area of enemies and take out more enemies. As you see right there, everything gets wiped. But if I'm doing like a defense or I'm doing like a survival where I'm just camping, I just hold it so it'll stay still. Oh, if you're ever trying to beat your friends in a race, the R1X ability is so good. If you hold it, you'll sit here and float. But if you just tap it, you can look. I mean, look at this. I'm just teleporting across the map, and you keep momentum with it too. So a lot of people that I've seen in the Warframe community will subsume off the one, which doesn't make sense to me. I did my Archon hunt and I did my Netra sales with ZEPHYR yesterday, and literally just destroy every single enemy. It's not even fair. Just make sure you have weapons that are built around crit. I would really appreciate if you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to push 2,500 subscribers. Oh, one last thing. If you want to join the Discord link's down below. If you like to talk about Warframe, just a whole bunch of Warframe stuff. And if you want to keep up with me, that's a great place to do it. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.